That would be me.
Look who we're hanging with.
Jason David Frank.
Boom shakalaka.
Please do not change channel.
Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin With Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter. Thank you so much for logging on and tuning in. We are at the Henegar Center for the Performing Arts. We've been invited in by Brevard Film and Talent, and we have got to hang with some amazing artists and filmmakers today. We want you to go ahead and hit subscribe so you can come back over and over again. We've got authors, artists, filmmakers, entertainers, creative minds of all kinds here on the Hangin With Web Show. We're here right now. We're hanging with children's author Travolta Respol. Is that right?
Hi. Yes, it is right.
Oh, right. See, I pronounced that right, you two, so you can't pick on me.
Yes, that's right.
Maybe you can, but don't, because I'm very fragile. And Anne is the author of The Plight of the Lonely Potato. Yes. See, potato, plate. See what she did there? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys get it?
Potato.
All right. Anne, thanks for hanging with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you. I love that I can talk about my book.
Yes. Well, let's talk about The Plight of the Lonely Potato.
Oh, yes. Well, usually you don't think about a potato. What's going on with a potato? It gets eaten.
That's true.
It does get eaten in this book, but it's a journey. It's all by itself in a bin, closing time at a store. And these are all his thoughts. He's saying, why am I buying that? What's the matter with me? What, do I have holes in me? What? And all of a sudden, this little hand comes and grabs him, and he's so excited. He says, oh, yes, I'm going to go home. Somebody wants me. She takes him home, and she's not sure what to do with him. She talks about frying him. She talks about boiling him. He says, oh, no, please. She finally decides that she's going to plant him and make other potatoes until she gets a great potato salad, the best potato salad ever, and he's so excited about that.
That's pretty cool.
And that's
because the life of a potato is a very underground experience.
Yeah. Dun-dun-dun.
Oh, did you see what happened there? What? Now it's a children's book. It's lighthearted and it's entertaining.
Yeah.
What made you want to write for children?
Because coming from a family of 6 children, I was always read to all the time. My mother would make up stories half the time to us, which I loved. And I thought, what a great thing to have that imagination. Whether it's a true story or something you'd like to happen, write it down and make it believable and go with it. Always wanted to write since I was very tiny.
Wow.
I remember Mama, which was a show back in the 50s, a movie. And I thought, I want to be that daughter upstairs in the attic, writing about whatever I think.
Whatever's going on.
Yeah, whatever's going to be interesting. And I truly, really believe that write what you know or what you like, people you know, people you like. It's going to be interesting because it was interesting to you. And that's, as the creator, if you're interested in what you're doing, that will come across onto the page. And especially for kids. Kids can tell when you're excited about something. Oh, yeah.
And they can tell when you're excited to tell them a story. You know, versus, hey, Dad, tell me a story. And you're kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
and they can tell when you're actually excited to tell that story. So why a potato? What about a potato spoke to you that day that you were like, I'm going to tell a story about a potato? I don't know what it was.
I started writing this about 15, 20 years ago. And I remember talking about it with my daughter and her friends, and they loved it. They said, well, what else happens to it? So I said, well, let me just write this down, and it sat there for years, and then I decided, let me do something about it. And now that I'm retired, why not? I've got the time to do it.
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
That's what really kind of.
And that does, and you kind of hit it on the head there. Now that you're retired, this was just a passion project for you. So you wanted to tell a story.
Right.
We talk to so many of our artists and our authors and our young talent and try to tell them you're never too old to start something new.
No.
It's never too late to do what you love to do.
Exactly.
If you can find a way to do it. Are you planning on writing some more?
Yes, I have another book in the works.
Awesome.
And it's called The World According to Binks. And Binks
The World According to
Binks. Binks is a cat. So you'd never think that a cat would have any ideas of what she wants to do. She gets bored with being an only cat, indoor cat, so it's her adventure. It's
her adventure.
I want to do what my people do. Oh. She wants to dress up when they dress up, go to parties, So it's all about her thinking what would it be like if.
See, that's a bestseller because we're pretty sure on the internet that cats own the internet.
Oh,
because a video of a cat
cool.
gets like 1 million views.
Yeah.
I can struggle to get 100 when I bring on a best-selling author, but one cat, they break the internet. I don't know how that works. So Binks is going to do great.
Yeah, Binks is going to.
Yeah, Binks is going to do all right.
Yeah.
As a writer, and you know, starting this journey now, you said the story's been there around for about 15 years, and you just sort of polished it off and said, "This is what I'm going to do."
Yeah.
What's it been like now for you as breaking into a new art form?
A little scary.
Yeah.
It's all new to me, so I'm not sure what little signals to look out for. You know, I don't know that many publishers yet. I went to an Authors for Authors seminar, kind of learned a little bit there.
Absolutely.
Networked with people, and that's kind of what I'm doing. But I'm not as savvy on the computer as I'd like to be, so I kind of need a little more help there.
Amen.
Getting things,
by the time
uploading.
The problem is that these kids keep changing it. By the time you and I learn it, they create like a whole new thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like a new
It's like
tablet or
5-minute
something.
rule.
Yeah, it is. You're like, hey, wait a minute, we just learned this.
Right.
What was your favorite book as a child?
Oh, it was Honey Bunch on the Farm.
Honey Bunch
It was like a
Farm.
series, kind of like, remember the, was it the Hardy Boys?
Yeah.
For boys. This was Honey Bunch on the Farm. I'd go to the library, and it was her adventure.
Cool.
And something got me excited about it. I can't remember exactly. It was just all her little girl on the farm doing different things, getting in trouble, whatever.
Which is what we all do when
Yeah,
we're kids,
yeah,
no
her
matter where we are.
adventures.
On the farm, in the city, on the block,
Right.
we're off making mischief. That's what we did as kids. Will there be a sequel to Lonely Potato? I mean, wait a minute. It's a Lonely Potato. She said she cooked
No,
him.
he's in the salad already.
She
He's a
cooked him.
salad.
Yeah. Not lonely anymore. He's got
It's
lots
not
of
lonely.
potato friends.
That's the end of
in
it.
the
There's
salad.
no longer, a life can be great even for a lonely potato. That's the end
You
tag.
can't follow up to a potato story where he's already been cooked. She
But-
puts the questions up. Sometimes I don't know where they
Yeah.
come from.
I would like to follow it up with another
Another-
potato or a fruit.
A fruit.
Just thinking about
Fruit is
the
good.
apple. You know how they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree? Well, mine will be the apple that fell too far from the tree.
Oh.
Little pun on words there. Way too far
Yes.
from the tree. See what
Yes.
happens with that apple. Adventure of an
That's a
apple.
journey. The things you don't think about when you're a creative mind. The things you didn't think about. She's thinking the apple and how far it goes and rolls and
Yeah.
wow. We have cats and apples coming up. What are the kids thinking of this when they're getting it? Are kids liking it so
I
far?
haven't read to the kids. My sister-in-law in California had some teachers read to her in a school, usually kindergarten age. They just kind of like they think it's silly and funny, and the pictures are great. I just think they probably think it's silly that a potato would have a story, but loving the result, you
Yes.
know, and the whole message, you know, that the potato finally got a family.
It is,
wasn't
and I
alone
think
anymore.
what's a great thing is that we start telling stories to kids early on, because our stories, as they grow up, whether it's advanced literature, whether it's film, television, whatever they see, it's going to start with a love of storytelling,
Right.
and understanding that our stories are the same, that they tell a truth to us.
That's right,
And
exactly.
we all crave family, and we all crave companionship. And from the potato to the kindergarten kid, they know what that feels like to want to be part of something bigger and better.
Right, exactly.
So that's an amazing story to tell. And of course, we all know what it's like to want to fit in, so we can't wait to see Binks try to fit in. And so, see, these are the things that I think kids, you know, they gravitate towards stories that are common to them, and that are going to be as they grow up. Whether you're reading right now, you're reading Anne, or later on you're reading Dickens.
Right.
You're going to find the human side of that.
But the messages in all of these are going to be just, you know, it's not always great to be alone. Things are always better when you have a companion or somebody to share it with. And with Binks, she finally finds there's another cat that comes to the house. Whoa.
It's always good to have a friend.
It's good to have a friend.
It's good to have a friend.
That became
That's
the world
right.
that she finally
Have you
got.
now since you've been published and you've been out, and I know you have been talking to the folks at Authors for Authors and things like that. Are you working on any signings or any appearances coming up?
No,
so
what
you
I
can
have to
work
do
with
is
the
work
kids?
on the price on this book, and then I'll buy a bunch up and then I'll have signings. Otherwise it gets, I'm working
Yes,
on
it does.
I'm
Gets a
working
little
on it.
pricey
Gets
sometimes.
A little pricey.
Yes, it does. Those of us who are writers know carrying those cases of books around in the trunk is expensive.
Exactly.
And you know.
Going on the road with those books, right?
Yes, yes, and it sucks up all your luggage space. Trust me. We've done enough shows now that I know. When I don't have show equipment in the back of the car, I've got my books in the back of the car.
That's right.
And no matter where I go, I've got to have one or both of those things.
Right.
So we have to wrap it up. We've been hanging with Travolta Respol, the author of The Plight of the Lonely Potato. And what's the Binks story going to be?
About her wanting to have it's the world according to Binks, and this cat's tired of being alone and an only cat, and she wants to start doing what people can do. So
look for it coming up, The World According to Binks. As we wrap it up, we're going to thank our partners and our friends at Asylum Convention Entertainment Services, Space Coast Comics, Krypton Radio, Off the Chain Radio with author Yvonne Mason, Famous Faces and Funnies, Something Unique Magazine, and our great friends here at Brevard Film and Talent for inviting us in to talk to some amazing creators today. We have been hanging with children's author Travolta Respol, and we hope that you will come back for more. Subscribe, log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Greg. That was awesome.